As Evan noted, we met in Seraphos in Greece. I loved it so much I went back 2 weeks later, stayed longer, and I'm going back next year. So I loved it so much. And what I loved about it is the stories. We collect stories all the time. I am a storyteller. It is a title. I've been doing this for 6 years out of the 11 years that I've been at Microsoft. I've been in tech over 15 years. I started at Motorola and I made my way to different organizations. And if you're wondering what a storyteller does at Microsoft, we do a lot of different things. There's actually currently 4,000 worldwide storytellers in different verticals of the company. So they could be in finance, engineering, marketing, sales. I happen to sit in the government side of sales. It's really exciting because we get to talk to governors, we get to talk to policymakers, especially around a little thing you may have heard of called AI, right? So we are leading this space in AI. And what I want to talk to you about today is exactly that. It's the future of storytelling, because all of us have stories. All of us are a story. All of us are informed by stories. And just like Kelly noted, and I loved her moment of mindfulness, we get to choose what stories we take with us, what stories we write, what stories we form, what stories we rewrite. And in my personal life, I've had to do all of that. And I think all of us have. And so with technology, we also get to do a lot more. So I want to teach you today some of the things that I learned, that I've learned so far in my career, and just where we've been so far in this idea of storytelling. There's you. There's me as well. And I just want to give you a little bit of a map of where we've been in technology just 5 years ago. This is really fascinating. Just 5 years ago, it feels like eons, but around 5 years ago, we embarked on a thing called social media hype. This basically meant that all of our content, whether you are a personal brand or a corporate brand, you were thinking about how to make this social media readily available. Does this go on Instagram? Should we put this on LinkedIn? Those were the conversations happening. Any blogs, any pieces of content, how do we make this socially readily available for our brand? Where do we put it? On Facebook? Where do we go? Do we go on TikTok today, right? New channels coming out. That was happening just 5 years ago. Mobile optimization became a thing. One more thing to think about. So our content had to be mobile ready. Can the content be consumed on a phone? Basically is what we were asking ourselves. Can this big piece of content be taken in little pieces and parts so that it could be snackable and be consumed by our audiences? We began to talk about brand storytelling in a time that I was already a brand storyteller in engineering, of all things. I am not an engineer, but I speak engineer because I had to, and it was not easy. Try asking an engineer to tell you a story. Any engineers in the house today? They won't. They will say, here's the piece of content. Here's the piece of technology. That is the story. And so I had to really think about brand storytelling, what it was, how it was. I failed miserably. In fact, I failed for 3 months. In fact, my family was moved from Florida. Backstory. We were asked, I was working at Microsoft, and I said, look, if I join your company, I will never move to Seattle. Never say never, right? 6 years later, they're asking me to come in to do this brand storytelling work. And I'm like, well, okay, we'll move to Seattle. So we moved to Seattle. We thought it'd be fun. It wasn't fun. The weather was horrible. And when I got there, I thought I could do the job. And then I realized I could not, because I did not know what storytelling really was. I thought it was about telling stories. It was not. And so I spent a few months telling my husband, hey, let's not unpack. They might send us back to Florida real quick. So let's just keep the bags packed. So this was starting to happen. People were thinking about storytelling, not knowing what it was, figuring it out. We're still trying to figure it out. Video content, we all know that. Everybody started to say, hey, what can we turn into a video? Reels, and all the things started to happen there. Influencer marketing got bigger and bigger. Basically, we were paying people to talk better about our brand just because they had a nice YouTube account. This was 5 years ago. And then if we think about 5 days from now, truly today, right? The future is here. We've gone from a social media hype to a social media recession. In fact, in 2023, we saw 13% of consumers, you and I, go back to email as a preferred communications channel versus social media. That was from 2022 to 2023. There's a recession happening. We are tired. We're exhausted. There's so much content. Our brains are not built for this, right? News coming from all parts of the world. How do we even process? So we're tired. That's happening right now. We went from mobile optimization to AI optimization, a place that Microsoft is leading at. I'm not here to sell you my company. I love what I do, but I do more than be a Microsoft. But I will tell you that we are leading in this space, so I get the privilege to play with this technology, and I have been for months now. I've been and I'll show you, I'll do a demo for you so you can see how fun it is. But really, there's a lot going here and a lot of questions around it. Will it take our jobs, right? Will it be secure? Hallucinations, all the kind of things that everybody's been talking about is happening right now. We went from brand storytelling to brand story lording. What is that? Well, you own the story. You'll get the story. You drive the story. You manipulate the story. You inform the story. You just don't tell the story. You design the story for your constituents, for your audience, for whoever you want. We've gone from video content to next gen content. What is that? It's a combination of AI-driven technology. It's a combination of video. It's a combination of Gen Z content. It's all happening all at once, and we don't even know where it's going yet. Honestly, we're just navigating it. And we've gone from influencer marketing to de-influencing marketing. You know what that is? Those people we paid 5 years ago became super big and super rich, and now they're talking against your brand. Of course, you're not paying them to do that, but that's what they're doing. Now they're talking against the brand. I don't like this brand because, and so that's happening. Why is this important and why should you care? At a personal level or a corporate level, whatever you do in your space, whatever your function is, whatever you know, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, why do you care? Because all of us are here and we're living in this space today and we're going somewhere. And if we don't understand where that is going, we may not land. We may not land with our audiences. We may not land with our business partners. We may not land with our family members. We just may not. We will fall flat in our stories. And we have them and we want to tell them, but we may not land. One more thing to think about is not just where we are in this landscape, but those trends. Now, trends are trends. Let's be real. They go up and down. They move, around. They may not be tomorrow, but it's important to understand where they are today because they drive content. They drive what you do. They drive how you do it. If you've been working on a piece of content, on a pitch, whatever that is, you have to understand what is happening today. Now, I want to give you some ideas of what's happening. I've given these names, so they are mine. But just to understand what's going on, we're voting with wallets. We, meaning you and I, and your customers, and your audiences, we are voting with wallets. What does that mean? Well, let's say I do own a business. It's called Be Mindful, Be Happy. And I pride myself that this business is 100% eco-friendly, green, ethical. Everything we do, it's very expensive because we have to be, in order to be green in all the things. Now, obviously, I have to think about margin. I have to think about how to sell a product, 100% organic cotton, all these things. If I'm over here and my brand is selling this 100% organic cotton shirt, and then this other brand competitor is doing the same thing, it's the same shirt, essentially, in terms of product quality, and this, the consumer, you are thinking about buying one of the two. And mine costs $20, to say a number. But this one costs $50. But you align to this person's political views, you will pay $50 for the same shirt. Same product, same quality, but you will pay $50, $30 on top of the margin because you align to their political views. That is what's happening today. We are voting with wallets. Today, Gen Z, Gen Alpha, after millennials, are thinking before even considering a product about how they befriend your brand. That is a personal brand and that is a corporate brand. They're saying, what are you about? Not your product. They haven't even considered the product. They're going, what are you about? What's your story about? Where do you come from? What are you doing? And if I like you enough, oh, what are you selling me? It's the second thought. It's not about the product quality. And you better have product quality because that's the second thing. But the first thing is going to be, what's your story and what are you about? And so you have to have that ready to talk about. We have seen fallouts over and over in marketing, and I do this research all the time. I'll give you some examples. COVID. When it first came out, I was actually in Seattle. If you recall, when it first hit the United States, it was in a place called Kirkland, 15 miles from where I was living in Seattle, a little retirement place that was where it first started here before the lockdown. So I'm there. I'm ground zero, right? And so we're locking, everything's happening, and we were calling it coronavirus. at the time. It wasn't COVID, it was coronavirus. Coronavirus. And a lot of people thought, first thing that comes to mind is the Corona beer, if you like to drink beer, right? Like everybody's like, okay, I'm a beer drinker. I have to admit, I love a good beer. I don't drink as much as I'd like to because of health, at least, but I could have a beer belly if I did. I promise you. I like beer more than wine. This is a secret about me. Anyway, so I like Corona. It's okay. I'll drink Corona once in a while. So my mind was like, coronavirus, Corona. I'm curious to see what Corona is doing at this very moment. Because, by the way, their brand motto is live fully. Holy shit. We're in trouble as a brand. You know what I mean? So I look at this and I'm like, wow, I'm wondering what they're going to do. And I watched them for 8 months and they did nothing. They said nothing. They did nothing. Not on their channels, not on the website, nothing. They did nothing. And would you believe that for 2 years, including 2020 and then 2021, their sales were higher than the years before? You can look that up, Google it. 2 years in a row during the pandemic, their sales were up the roof. Why? Because not telling a story told a story. Because staying quiet is also a message. So think about what you're doing and what you're saying and how you're saying it, and think about how people are voting with wallets. What does your website say about you or your brand? What is the story it's telling? Is it a big, long statement nobody knows and cares about? Is it for the shareholders? Or is it a story about why you're here and why you care? We want to know why you care before we care. That's all of your customers. Voting with wallets, number one. Number two, no creepy marketing. No creepy marketing. So yes, I decided to go to Greece. I was invited and I was excited. It was my first time in Greece. Believe it or not, I've been to over 40 countries in the world, never been to Greece. And I was like, you know what? Never been to Greece. Let me go to Greece. And so I accept the invitation. I'm excited. And then my friends decide, hey, you're going to Greece. We want to go to Greece. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I have 2 sons, they're in college. And so one of them was like, Mom, you're going to Greece? I want to go to Greece. And then my husband's like, I want to go to Greece. And so my 2-week trip turned into a month and a half trip. So now I'm Googling stuff to try to, get like Airbnbs and stuff with Greece and hotels. And so cool, I get my trip, I extend my trip. And then I get on TikTok. Once in a while, I'll do this happy hour on TikTok where I watch like babies and puppies. And then all of a sudden I get an ad, right? How to hop island in Greece. And I'm like, oh, that's creepy. I don't want to know that you know that I know I'm going to Greece. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's not subtle. Like, I know you're like, somebody sold my information. I hate that. If you hate it, our customers hate it. Your audience hates it. So creepy marketing is feeling like that's for all of us. We are skittish about content today. So the story not only has to be compelling and authentic, it has to feel like it's not marketing anything. It's not selling anything. It has to feel real. When you think about your brand and your own story, it has to feel real. And then people to lean in and they get curious. That's what it's doing. A story conveys curiosity. And then ask you, hey, what's next? Tell me more, right? You leave them with a hook, and then the story doesn't sell anything. The story conveys, it evokes emotion. Storytelling, brand storytelling, it's not information. It's not marketing. It's not sales. It's not data. It's taking all of that and transferring it with empathy to your audience in an emotional way, in a way that people go, I want to know more. Tell me a little bit more. And then you go, oh, here you go. Here's all of the things you want to know, right? No creepy marketing. Content situationships. Now, I have been married this October. We're 25 years, celebration of my 25-year marriage. Incredible. Yes, please clap for that. That's like a huge thing. Clap for my husband. He puts up with me for that long. Content situations. So I've never been in a situationship per se, but I've heard modern dating, right? This is a thing. Situationship are a thing. And so I've heard that, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you're in one, please let me know. But in a situationship, you're kind of in a relationship, but you're not. Right? You're like dating, but not. You're hanging out, you're doing all the relationship things, but you don't have a label, right? But from what I've heard so far, at some point, it gets toxic. It gets toxic because one of the partners decides they want more, right? So then the whole conflict begins. That's kind of the thing. In this situationship, you're the toxic partner because your constituents, your stakeholders, your audience, they don't want more from you. They just want to stay in the place where they've decided to flirt with you from the brand perspective. They're like, hey, tell me a little bit, let me check out your website. And you're coming in and you're like, well, let me sell you this. And they're like, whoa, hold on. I'm not putting on a ring on it yet. You know what I mean? And so that's don't get into that content situation. But again, empathy. Today we live in a world where we need to be empathetic. There's a lot happening to all of us. And so, yes, we still have a place to sell, and we live in a wonderful country where we can do so many wonderful opportunities for people, for society, but really treading lightly with empathy, that our stories land well and that we're not pushing ourselves to a place where it feels like we're in a situationship. Last one, cheating on your primary audience with trends. Now, I'll give you a little backstory. So I am in Seattle. I'm failing miserably for the first 3 months. I thought that with my marketing background, my communications background in tech, I could do the job. I could not possibly do the job. The engineers did not like me at all. Like, why are you here? What are you doing? And so it took me a while. And I thought that my content was pretty good. And I was like, yeah, I'm a good writer. I could do this. And they were like, we don't care. And I was like, why don't you care, right? And then I realized why. Because I'm not an engineer. They don't want to hear from Miri, the marketer. They couldn't care less. They want to hear from another engineer. They trust and respect people of their own kind. It took me like 3 months to figure that shit out. I was like, my gosh, my content's really good. So what did I do? I took the content and then I ghost wrote it under an engineer. And voila, everybody loved the content, right? It was my content, same content, but it's just like somebody else wrote it. And everybody loved it. We went from 125,000 views on a open platform for engineers, for devs, which is for Microsoft, it's a thing. We went from that to 5 million, no ads. It works. Empathy works. That was my primary audience. Now I got really excited about this, like, oh, now it's working. Good. All over the world, wrote a book, best-selling. It's working. My method worked. I'm really good at this. I got egotistical about it. I was like, this is good. I'm awesome. Right? And then what happened was I began to cheat on my primary audience. I was like, oh, let's now do reels. And they don't do reels. Engineers don't like reels. They like what they've always liked. An 800 or less word blog that points to a technical or white paper article. That's what they like. That's what they've always liked. So no, you're not going to get them on Instagram. They're not there, right? So I started to cheat on them, and guess what? Not working. Who is your primary audience? Are you thinking? Are you continuing to build that relationship throughout? Yes, of course, explore other options for new audiences. Of course, build new audiences, but think about who they are and stick to that. Stick to that, because they're loyal to you when you're loyal to them, right? That's what happens. So trends and landscape. What's going to happen in 2024? Well, my predictions in the work that I've done, bless you, is that we're going to have to upskill ourselves in a different way, in a different manner. Now, I'm not asking you to become all these things tomorrow. I'm asking you to think about these things for tomorrow, okay? Writing will be one of them. And I'm not saying become a writer. I'm saying think about what writing looks like and what it will mean for content writing tomorrow, in a space where we have AI doing a lot of that work already, in a space where I will demo how it's doing a lot of that work. Research. Now, that I put as number 2, but really there's no order here on how important this is. Here's where writing and research are going to intertwine in a way that no robot will be able to do ever. Here's what I've been doing. I've been testing this technology, and I've become friends with my AI. My AI has a name. It's learned me. I've learned it. So I've been doing this for a little while. Trust me, for over 9 months already. Research is what's going to turn information into data, into information into insights. And I will say that again. A robot will be able to do as much as take a set of data and turn it into information. But it will never be able to take that information into insight. What is insight? It is that sentient thing that you and I have inside of us. It is the relationship with your customers that it will never have. It is the lived experience that you bring to the table. It is the community that you've built that it has not, that it won't. It is the empathy that you can deploy in your content, and you can transfer that as information. Now, I did a little test. I have 2 boys in college. One of them is an engineer. Actually, he's now become a physicist. He's working for a funded project by NASA. He's brilliant. Very proud of him. But he's very engineer-like. And I speak engineer, but still not as good as he does. And so, I'm talking about, he goes, Mom, he's always challenging me all the time. And I'm like, shut up. But I'm like, just stop. So, he's like, you talk about AI will not be able to do this. I think it will. I think AI will do all the things. And I said, oh, you think AI will one day transfer love? Yes, I think it will. I said, okay, let's do something, right? I'm going to write you 2 letters. One of them will be written by an AI. The other one will be written by me. Only you won't know which one's which. And you tell me, my son, you tell me, which one did you feel had love in it? You're going to tell me, right? So now I've trained my AI, by the way, which you should as well. I've trained my AI to know my voice. It knows who I am. It knows my voice. It knows how I talk. So it can do a really good job to capture a piece of content and write like me. It learned to do that already. It's fascinating how it can do that. It learned that in less than 3 weeks, by the way. And so I read a letter to my son, and one is AI driven, the other one is not. And I sent the letters, and he couldn't tell the difference at first. He's like, I don't know, I need a little more time. I was okay. So after a while, then a couple weeks go by, and he calls me, he goes, Mom, I think I have the one that's from you. And he was right. And so he read it, he's like, this is the one from you. I'm like, tell me, how do you know this one's mine? Because the style of writing, the words being, the choice of words, all the same. How? He goes, I don't know, I just felt it. And I said, aha, that's right. The transfer, there's an energy. We know that, we feel that, we got that. That is the very thing we have that the robots will never have. So when I talk about research, adaptability, creativity, the research is the part of you that will take the time and will leverage this robot to do robot mundane things, to research all the things you want to deliver what you need for your audiences. Example, today I write to governors. Those governors that we're selling our AI technology to are also policying around them. So I have to be very careful what I write to my governors, you know what I mean? Because they're also regulating this shit. And so I'm gonna have to think about that. And so I'm like, okay, how do I write something that's compelling, that makes them curious, but also it's like, it's not a red flag, right? And so I now have an opportunity, which I didn't have before in my lifetime as a writer, to go, here's my content. I submit it to my AI and I say, hey, Remy, I give it a name. I'm like, hey, Remy, here's my content for my governor. Can you tell me how many, if any, policy regulations around AI were passed in this city this week? And it shows up and it gives me 3 to 5 sources of regulations of that city. It would take me decades for a VP. You got to go fast. They want to go right to like, what's the point, right? It's going to teach you that fast. It's going to say, and I've done this on many levels, write this for a 5-year-old, write this for an engineer, a 50-year-old. It changes, the same content changes 3 times. Right? It's the same content. It's going to change 3 times. Rising action, building toward the plot, building toward the climax. Now, as a writer and as a woman, climax is important. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Yes, it is. I need to know and understand this is going to happen, right? So for me, AI is going to help me with the plot twist, with the action sequence, with improving pacing. What essentially, as I build my story up, is again telling me, hey, Miri, there's different twists to the story you have not considered. Now, as a writer, and I've been doing this for my whole life, I could probably give you 2 or 3 plot twists. It's given me 6 and 8. It's fascinating what it can do. And I'm going to show you in a minute. Next, following the resolution, the planning, the sentiment analysis. This is where, my gosh, I was fascinated. I told you that storytelling is a emotional transfer of information. When I ask my AI and I say, is this emotional enough for this audience? It's going to be like, no, you suck, Miri. Go back to the drawing board. Here are some suggestions. Or it's going to be like, oh, you're right on point. It's helping. Somebody's going to cry. Good, that's what I was going to. Somebody's going to be scared. Great, I was going for scared. Whatever I was going, or if it's something I wasn't going for, right? Somebody will be really deeply disappointed. Oh, no, that's not what I was going for. Let me rewrite. Impact to the story is important. A lot of times we think it's going to land in a certain way because of our own biases and our own lived experiences. It removes all that and it helps us with the rawness of the story. And the conclusion, wow. We're going to show you how this is doing it today. Story themes. When you ask your AI, what is the theme of my story? Brace yourself. Brace yourself. And I'm going to show you real time, the next 2 minutes. It's going to tell you the sentiment analysis back to that emotional thing. I'm going to skip over these 2 things, but I'm going to show you this one slide. Befriend your AI. Start with ChatGPT. I have Copilot, which is obviously a whole different animal, but ChatGPT you can get for free. At 3.5 right now is, it's limited, but it'll do the job. And actually, I'm going to demo that one so that you could see it, because it would make no sense to demo something you haven't seen before. Prompt it to tell a story. Ask it to show you the story angles and the possible outcomes. And your story will look so many different ways that you have never known before. It's really reverse engineering content. That's what you're doing here. So are you ready for the demo? Oh, that was so weak. Are you ready for the demo? All right, let's go. Here you go. So here's what I'm demoing today. I'm demoing something called the win wire. At Microsoft, we are on the sales side. And so we like to, rah-rah ourselves and be like, we are awesome at Microsoft. And so we have a thing called the win wire. This is an actual piece of content. I've only taken out the names, the real names. I've only said customer. I've left some acronyms. At Microsoft, we use a lot of acronyms just so that we could see what AI does with it. By the way, every time I demo it, it does something different. And so what this is actually a story that is taken from our sales team all the way to the VP level. And the VP goes, rah, 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 you're awesome, sales team. We love you so much. That's what it is. It's a win wire. I have taken these stories and I've decided, wait a minute. This story can be more than just a win wire and like an internal celebration of our job. We can actually take this and make this a customer-facing story. But what if we do this? How does it work? So this is an actual example of things that I've done at Microsoft, where I've taken a very, as you can see, 3 bullet points and a win strategy into an actual customer success story. That's the content. I've pre-recorded the demo for you. And so I'm using ChatGPT. Now, here's the first thing that I like to suggest for you. I have left all of my chats intact. So every time I go, I start a new chat. Why have I done that? I have done that because I go back to when I first started in my relationship with my Remy, and I'm like, wow, like you have come a long way, Remy. You know what I mean? Like when we first started, you gave me like 2 bullet points. Now you're giving me huge paragraphs. And so I want to see the sequence, and I want to understand how the technology is learning, because it is learning from you. It's not a one size fits all. It's not 100%. You will never get 100%. Again, please don't think that it's going to write a book for you. I've written 2. It will not do that. What it will do is it will give you some capabilities, some features that you can enable your story, empower, supercharge your story with. And so I've left this to understand the sequence and the progress of this. Now, what I did in the demo, again, this is a live demo, I copied, pasted the first 3 bullet points of the story you just saw. And I asked it, say this in story form. That was my prompt. Say this in story form, and there is the 3 bullet points. Once upon a time, there was a customer, and here it is. It begins to give me a bunch of content just from the story. Now, interesting that it picks the name Alex. I'm going to pause real quick because, hold on one second. Yeah, 1 second. Oh, no. Where are you going? Okay, let me play it again. Oh, okay, here we go. Yeah, I'm going to go right here, right in the story form. I'm going to slow it down a little bit because it's so fast. Yep, so here it is. Okay, I'm going to pause right here. Once upon a time, there's a customer named Alex. I was seeking ways to enhance security. It begins to actually spell out the acronyms, as you can see here, Customer Service Associate, CSA. It knows my tool is an actually automation security tool, Enhanced Automated Security Monitoring System. I didn't tell it that, by the way. I just said EASM. Then it says, with enthusiasm, Sarah explained how EASM could significantly improve Alex's security posture. And then I went, my son's name is Alex. His girlfriend's name is Sarah. It picked up, I never had any names on this. Okay, I put customer, but it gave it names that matter to me. It personified the story for me, so I could pay attention. Do you see how it did that? It emotionally transferred 2 names that are important to me. And it knew that about me. And so it plugged them in so I could pay attention to the story, because now Alex is an Alex to me. It's not just a customer. Sarah is a Sarah to me, not just Sarah. And so what I'm showcasing here, it's picking up on nuances that it learns from you to make the story compelling, to make that an emotional transfer. And so if we continue to see what it does, let me play this demo. Really fast is giving me, 3 and 4 paragraphs. And I'm like, wow, this is just from literally 3 bullet points. Thank you, Remy. I appreciate that. Let's look at the words that it's using to make it more compelling in terms of emotional transfer. It's using words like Well, it's also, again, spelling out the acronyms. I called that out already. And then it's looking at words such as enthusiasm, right? Cutting edge. Is looking at things like, hey, it's detecting some things. It's building the story arc, captivated, right? By the wealth of information. It is taking something really dull, like 3 bullet points, and really building the transfer of that emotion. Now, I'm going to take the next 3 bullet points, which is the win strategy. Here it is, 4 bullet points, sorry. And I'm going to plug those back in, and I'm going to say, add this to the story. And I plug that in. And it says, hey, as Alex continued, so it builds on the story, right? And it gives me the rest of what's happening here. And I'm like, wow, how interesting that in this story, it's not adding on from the beginning. It's actually adding on to the story of Alex's journey. And it's talking about how this all comes together. So now I do what I told you guys to do. Oh, before I do that, I'm like, you know what? I feel like we can write a LinkedIn post about this. Let's see how we can do this for me. Write a LinkedIn post from this whole story. Here it is. Exciting journey towards enhanced security. I want to share a remarkable story that exemplifies the power of collaboration. Meet Alex, a determined customer seeking to blah, blah, blah. I didn't give it specifics on whose angle is this. Is this Alex's angle? Is this the CSA angle? But, here goes, hashtag security excellent, hashtag EA same, hashtag cybersecurity. I mean, in 3 seconds, I have a story plus a LinkedIn post. That's my Siri talking. Okay, so wonderful. Look at that. LinkedIn post. I'm like, you know what? I want to tweet it. What if we tweet it or exit, whatever it is today? Let's tweet the story. And there it is in 140 characters or whatever it is. Read the inspired story. And it says, hey, here's the link to that story I just wrote. So it connected the two and said, you already have a post on LinkedIn. Let's just link it together so you can drive your traffic to LinkedIn. Fascinating. Here is the real incredible thing. I ask it, what are the key themes in this story? And this is where my mind blew and blows every single time. As a writer, I could probably do 2 or 3. Here, it starts to talk to me and gives me 4, 5, maybe 6. Okay, I'm going to show you something really important right here. This theme up here, the first one, it says proactive measure. The story emphasizes the importance of taking proactive steps to enhance the security. The customer, Alex, actively seeks out solutions like EASM and independently spins it up in the necessary resources, showcasing their proactive approach towards safeguarding their digital infrastructure. Wait a minute. Does that mean that the customer was the one who actually implemented the solution? It wasn't even Microsoft? Yes. In this story, we didn't even touch that. Now, we said we did. We're like, yeah, rah, Microsoft. What we did was we noted that a customer took a shift and lift solution that was easy to implement and actually implemented it on their own. And then we got notice of it, and then we upsold them. That's what happened in the real story. Oh my God. That's a whole different story than I was telling. It picked it up. I would have never picked it up. You know why? Because I love Microsoft, and I love our customers, and I love our sellers, and I'm like, rah, Microsoft. My bias was strong. See what I mean? But it wasn't. It was like, hey, wait a minute. That was a proactive measure. Now, what I did with that was I took a whole other spin to my story. Now I'm like, wait a minute. Our solution is so good that you don't even need a CSA. You can just go and lift and shift. That's a better story. So I just want to showcase that real quick because a lot of times, again, in our content, in wherever content you're spinning up, if you submit it to this tool, to any AI-powered tool, it has the opportunity to supercharge and remove the biases and be empathetic to your audience. Gives me 6 of them. And it says overall, the key themes revolve around proactive measures, collaboration, innovative tools, security posture, billing optimization. These are all additional stories that I can work on, additional themes from 7 bullet points. That's the power of AI today. And I want to showcase that. I wanted to showcase that to you today because it is important that we think about the things that we can do. Now we have something called Designer. This is basically the DALL-E is the counterpart to ChatGPT. Basically, I took another really boring story. It wasn't even a story. It was a ops document. And I told it to give me a story and then to create an image of that story. And this is what it gave me. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So don't be scared that it's going to take your job. Begin to play with it in a way that you bring yourself with empathy and supercharge yourself with this technology. Let's let the robots be robots and do all the things that they don't get tired, they don't get into situationships, they don't have to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? They're just learning and they're really good at it. And so let them do that mundane stuff and then use that very great capability to supercharge who we are as humans. And who we are empathetic human beings that want to do right, hopefully, by our customers, by our society, by our community. And so now we have this tool that can enable that, supercharge that, and we don't have to really think about it 3 times and do all the research. It can help us do that in 3 seconds, and then we can really serve our audiences and our constituents in our community as well as they deserve, because they deserve it. All right, thank you so much.